Yeah, I guess the last time we did this was before Evansville game. We had 2 road games. Had a good win at Evansville where we did an outstanding job defensively, and was really pleased with how we responded to a rough start from the field with our young team. And then went to Western Kentucky and got off to a rough start, turned it over 5 times in the first 2 minutes, and most of those 3 of those turnovers were where we got a steal and then turned it right back over. We got a rebound and then went too fast and traveled, did those types of things. We did a nice job handling their press. They run a 1-2-2. It's very effective. Only turned it over 13 times for the game, but they just dominated us on the glass. 21 offensive rebounds, which turned into 48 points in the paint. They had about 30 second chance points in that game. And that was the difference in the ball game. You know, we did a nice job on their first field goal attempt defensively, but when you're getting the rebound and putting it right back in, that equals out to about 50%. So it was rough for us to overcome that. Give them a lot of credit. Chastity Gooch and Alexis Govan are probably 2 of the 3 or 4 best players in the Sun Belt this year, and they played like it. We did a great job on Govan in the first half, held her to 2 points. She got some buckets late, and we also did a nice job defensively on their leading scorer, Bianca McGee. But the offensive rebounds were just too much for us to overcome.
I know you had said before the game you felt like Western might be the best team you guys would play all year. You still feel like that after you
They're one of the best. You know, I tell you, after watching Wright State yesterday, I feel like they may be the best team. They've got they have 2 20-plus point scorers, and they're averaging over 80 points a game. They can really light it up. Western's very complete. You know, I think I haven't looked at Xavier yet, but you know, Western and Xavier are probably 2 of the best. We really needed to shoot the ball well, and we struggled shooting it. So, you know, that's for us to win there, we had to play well. We did some nice things, had some good moments. To give up that many offensive rebounds and struggle shooting the ball was not a good combination.
And 13 assists, 1 turnover for Jansen Stars. Could you ask for a better start to her career?
Yeah, she's doing a nice job. I mean, there's no question. Jansen's a problem solver. You know, I told her that when we were recruiting her, when I offered her a scholarship. I just felt like she's somebody who's going to figure out a way. You know, what we've got to get her to understand is, you know, she's doing a good job defensively to this point. She's getting better every day. We've got to get her better in that area, guarding the basketball. And we've got to get her to figure out over the next game or 2, you know, what's a good opportunity for her to drive and what's going to be called a foul at this level and not called a foul. But she's doing an outstanding job taking care of the basketball.
You mentioned struggling shooting the ball. What do you think's the reason for that?
Well, I think we're pressing a little bit. You know, we're not shooting it as freely as we were before. We've got a couple of players that are a little tight in game situations, I think. I think that's the major reason. I think some of it is, you know, we've been on the road the last 2 games against quality teams from high RPI women's basketball leagues. That's a little bit of it. And we're not getting the ball into the paint as much as we need to. You know, I'm fine. We're averaging about 33-point attempts, a little more than that, which is fine. But we're not attacking the paint like we need to. We're settling for some jump shots. Our free throw attempts are not where they should be. So that's going to be a major focus for us. We really need to start attacking the basket and taking those opportunities.
Time have you learned from as you're teaching the country?
Yeah, so there's no question. It's a great learning experience. Really the last 2 games were good for our team. You know, it's great to get a win at Evansville, so you know, they understand they can win on the road. And the Western Kentucky game, I mean, you know, we preach going into the game, it's going to be about rebounding and taking care of the basketball and moving your feet defensively. We really did 2 of those 3 things fairly well, but you know, it's just tough when you get dominated like we did on the glass against them. It makes it awful difficult to win games. So, you know, I think they understood that. You know, the talk at halftime was the same thing that we had to talk about going into the game, and the talk after the game is going to be the same thing as we approach practice this week. We've got to rebound the basketball better. It can't just be all Jessica Winfrey. As a coaching staff, we've got to figure out a way, you know, whether it's playing different people more minutes, but, you know, Shan Hosey has rebounded great while she's in the game. She's made some mistakes that have ended up leading me to take her out of the game, but you know, maybe I just have to let her play through some of those early because she can be an outstanding rebounder for us. And it doesn't matter what we do if we can't rebound the basketball on the defensive end. There's, you know, it's kind of futile.
Can you talk a little bit more about Wright State in detail and what kind of challenges they present?
I'll tell you, Bradbury, Coach Bradbury used to be at Morehead State. I've known him for a long time, does an outstanding job. I think he's a great offensive mind. They have two very athletic guards that can get to the basket. They can shoot the three. They both average over 20 points a game. It's going to be they run a lot of dribble drive stuff. And they also run a lot of sets with multiple screenings and multiple options. And they have some good shooters that come off the bench. Defensively, you know, they switch a lot. They do a lot of things to confuse you. So we're going to have our hands full. We're going to have to execute offensively without question, and we're going to have to put the ball in the basket and get to the free throw line because Wright State is going to score. I mean, they average 80 a game. They have done a great job. Their one loss is to a very talented, very athletic Memphis team. So, you know, we're going to have our hands full. We've also got to get to the free throw line, and we've got to keep them off of it. They average almost 40 free throw attempts per game. So, you know, that's where they're winning basketball games. They shoot the three pretty well, but what they really do great is they attack and get to the free throw line. And I'd like to see some more out of us doing the same thing. So hopefully, you know, we can work on that this week and be prepared.